Good day. The future Dr. Graham here speaking to you. What I want to speak to you about is calling your parents. So I'm a mature person now. I'm not a kid anymore. And one of the most heartbreaking things is to see some of my contemporaries on Facebook when they talk about the death or the imminent death of their parents. And I'm very fortunate to have my parents. Both my parents are still alive. They are healthy, and they still live together. Still married, over 50 years. So one of the things I do not take for granted is calling my parents. So for the majority of my life, until about 2 years ago, my parents lived in Brooklyn, and I was able to see them. I didn't see them every day, but I got a chance to see them. But I call my mother almost every day. And I decided to increase my calls to my father, because when I call my mother will say, "Oh, you heard from Gary," and then that will be it. So I just decided that this year that I'll start calling my father, and it's just become the most enjoyable and most satisfactory thing. When I was in undergrad at Oakwood College, we didn't have any phones. So, and if we called, it paid. We had to pay an exorbitant fee. So every Friday, I would call my mother. And to this day, she would remind me that I would call her. So I would make it a habit that I would call my father and my mother. No time wasted. It is the most heartwarming feeling for them. And guess what? Now that my son is gone away, when he calls me, and he calls me for nothing, and he calls me for advice, I feel warm. It all comes back around. So today, my message is call your parents, call your uncles, call your aunts, call your brothers, call your sisters. If you have beef with them, it's not worth it. Give them a call. Tomorrow is not promised, and there's always something good to say. You have time. We take our time and do a lot of silly things, but to reach out to somebody, say thank you, happy birthday, call, don't text, and if you write, put it in a letter. So I'll break those down in the future. But today is about calling your parents. All right? The Bible talks about honoring your parents, and I think somewhere along the line, honor comes into play when you call them. And it wouldn't hurt to visit them either. It's been the future Dr. Graham. You can hit the like button. You can comment below. And you can subscribe. Hit that little bell over there. And tell all your friends about it. We're growing. You can see me on my different platforms. You can see me on Facebook, G. Anthony Graham, Boss Move, Soft Move. You can see me on Instagram, Gary Graham, Boss Move, Soft Move. You can see me on Twitter, where I talk a lot of political stuff. Boss Move, Soft Move, Gary Graham. LinkedIn, where you see I do a lot of consulting and a lot of speaking engagements. Boss Move, Soft Move. And of course, YouTube. That drives this whole universe. Boss Move, Soft Move, Gary Graham. Looking forward to you talking, communicating, and commenting. And remember, call your mom and call your dad. They would appreciate it.